It is Rock Alternative X103. What's happening? Deuce here. We are live from the Green Room at May Day 2007, which, by the way, is officially sold out. All right, we are sitting here with Chris Cornell. Chris, how you doing, man?
Good, thanks. How many is officially sold out? 25,000, 24,000? Wow,
yeah,
that's great.
Yeah.
Incredible. That's fantastic.
Partly because of you, obviously.
I don't know. I think it's because it's, there's a lot going on and it's not raining.
Yeah, that was we were worried about that for a whole while, so.
Yeah, I don't know though. I think I actually played a show here when it was raining, and I don't think anybody really cares that much.
You're probably kind of used to rain a little bit from Seattle and stuff, huh?
Yeah, you think? Yeah.
So the last time we talked to you, we talked about Soundgarden and all that stuff, and I decided we'd do a little something different, maybe try to get some stuff about you that maybe some of your average fans don't know about you.
Mm-hmm.
So what I did is I went on the internet, found stuff. Obviously, some stuff is true, some stuff is not.
It might all be true.
It might be. If it's not, then just, and we'll move on.
Okay.
How about the fact Chris Frisbee Cornell? Have you heard?
That's true, yeah.
What is the deal with the Frisbee name?
That was a nickname that I got from this guy I used to work with when I worked in a restaurant. And my last name used to be Boyle, which is my father's side, and I changed it to Cornell, which is my mother's side. But it used to be Chris B. was my last initial, and this guy thought people were calling me Frisbee, so he started calling me Frisbee one day. And he came and said, "Hey, Frisbee." So people called me Frisbee for probably about 6 or 7 years.
So how long has it been since you've heard that?
Probably someone actually calling me that.
Yeah.
God, I'm probably 21.
Wow.
No, 42. So a little while.
So you started out as a drummer. You were the actual original drummer for Soundgarden before Matt joined, correct?
Yes. Actually, there was one guy between me and Matt. His name's Scott Sundquist. And he was a good friend of mine, and it was kind of like I was a drummer and I couldn't find any cool bands to be in. Every band that I was in, I didn't like their songs, or I didn't like the singer. And the other guys in Soundgarden I met when we were here, and Tim and I were in a band like that, where it was this dude, Matt Dentino, who was kind of the main guy in the band, and we all just hated the band, but we met each other that way, and we wanted to start a band where we could just make music that we all liked. And there was no real dude in charge. We were all kind of writing songs, and I sang basically because the other two guys couldn't really. And Hero would scream some of the sort of post-punk songs, which were really good actually. But it's hard, sing and play drums all the time. So we were either looking for a singer or a drummer, and my friend Scott was a drummer, and there were no singers. Seattle was pretty small music scene then. We knew everyone. There were no singers, and so Scott became our drummer for about a year, and then Matt was in another band called Skinyard, and Matt replaced Scott right around the time when we were going to start going on tour, because Scott had a son. He couldn't, at his age and having a son, he couldn't go out on the road. So I was like a drummer that kind of became a singer in a way by accident. Honestly, liked playing drums in Soundgarden just as much as singing. And then I just got a bunch of on-the-job training, really.
Right.
My range came from singing in rehearsal rooms. I didn't have that much range when I started. I didn't really know how to sing that well when I started. It just came from writing songs, from making demos, from just doing it, playing shows and figuring it out. So that part of it kind of happened by accident. The part, though, that was important to me was just the songwriting,
Right.
Being in a band where I was in a band that had great songs. I didn't care how it happened. If I did it, someone else did it. That was just the important thing to me.
I heard that you said that one of your main goals is that you want to make the hairs on your neck stand up.
Yeah, I don't even know how do you describe it when you hear a really good song or something that moves you. You have an emotional connection to it. You're not really thinking about it. You're not going, well, it's fast. That's good. The guitar's heavy. That's cool. It's not like that. You just like it. And being in touch with that when you're writing your own song is a little bit weirder because it's hard to have objectivity. If I hear myself doing something I've never heard myself do, I might think I might like it, but that doesn't mean it's good necessarily. It just sounds new to me. So there's a certain amount of that obstacle of being in touch with what you're doing and knowing whether something is good or not, knowing whether it really makes the hairs on the back of your neck stand up. That usually happens from listening. Make a demo, don't listen to it for a few days, and then just put it on and see if you get that feeling, as if you're listening to someone else's song, kind of.
Well, the whole thing obviously ended up working out for you.
Yeah, it did.
Just a little bit.
It really did.
Now, speaking of Soundgarden, the song Jesus Christ Pose,
Uh-huh.
I heard a rumor that you wrote it actually as a parody for James Addiction, Perry Farrell.
Well, there was a picture, but it wasn't just Perry. It was a lot of magazines that were kind of doing this stylized photography, which is sort of the new metal or the new hard rock. And it wasn't just Seattle bands; it was also bands like James Addiction, Faith No More, Red Hot Chili Peppers. They were all part of the same thing.
Right.
You know what people call sort of grunge. Really, there's a bigger picture, and they're a part of it.
Right.
Even before that, in a way, like Guns N' Roses was a part of it, in a sense of getting away from hair metal and guys that wear makeup on stage.
The pretty boys.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's kind of getting it back to the what hard rock is really all about. And but I think there was a specific picture of Perry where it was as though he were being crucified, and it was like the 20th time I'd seen it. And there was a picture. To be fair, there was a picture taken of me like that started showing up on posters everywhere, and I just thought it was silly. You know, it's kind of constant.
I call it the
tortured
Scott pose.
Yeah, exactly. He actually did it shamelessly.
Yes, he did, and that was the point. Scott got to be off.
It wasn't like someone had to tell him to do that. He showed up doing that. They had no choice but to film him doing that because he wouldn't put his arms down.
That's when I was like, you suck. All right, so now you live in Paris.
Yeah.
What possessed you to move to Paris?
Well, I met my wife there, and I started visiting her every time we would have a break from touring. And it was at a time like I left Seattle. I was going through a divorce. I went there occasionally to see my very first daughter,
Right.
who's 6 now. But otherwise, I was just on the road. I didn't even live anywhere really. I was kind of homeless. And I met my wife Vicky in Paris when we were going through there. She owns a publicity firm that started in New York and ended up there because she went to school there. And I loved it, and she loved it, and we got married there and started having children. Decided to just stay there. And it's been really an amazing experience.
You like it?
Yeah, I really do. You know, and part of it is, I think being born and raised an American, a U.S. citizen, especially on the West Coast, it's really good to get outside and go be a foreigner somewhere. And you know, it's easy for us to get comfortable in this country being citizens here. You know, we have a lot of privileges that a lot of people don't have, and it's good to go other places and see what's going on.
Yeah.
You know, and there are things that are worse about a lot of countries than the U.S., but then there are some things that are really good. Like healthcare in France is really great to get medicines. Like everything seems to be $2, that kind of thing.
Right.
Which I wish we had that here for the people here, for anybody. You know, for not just poor people or old people, but everybody. It's also good to see not just the political perspectives, but to run into people like, especially someone like France, where we think, oh, they're probably not going to be into Americans too much. And, you know, it's not really like that. Like, their citizens are pretty cool. They like Americans. It's more like, you know, you've got one government and another government who don't get along and don't like each other's foreign policies, but it doesn't have that much to do with the regular guy, you know.
Right.
So it's been an interesting experience.
I just want to know, do they call French fries, or they just call them fries?
No, they don't. They call them fries. Yeah,
There you go.
There you go. Only they say it in French. They don't say fries. But you know who invented it? Because I really think the British invented it.
Oh, okay.
And
you
the
got
French
French
don't want to give
dressing,
French
bread.
don't want to give British credit for anything, so they just took it and said, "No, it's French fries, dude." But it's not an invention you really want to brag about, is it?
I don't know. I like them.
They're good, but you know, just fried potatoes. Probably the Irish invented them.
Well, I'm Irish, so there you go.
Me too.
You have 2 daughters.
Yeah, I do.
How is that? I have a son, but I don't know if I can handle having a daughter. That's just a different world, I would think.
Well, I have a 6-year-old daughter, and now I have a 2.5. With Vicky, I have a 2.5-year-old daughter and a 1.5-year-old son. And actually, it's so different.
Are you already dreading the whole
completely
kid thing
different.
when it starts happening?
Yeah, I'm hoping that
You're gonna be with the shotgun.
there's sort of like a 2-pronged approach. That my wife is going to be hard on her about it, and then I'm just going to make her feel sorry for me. And I already have that part figured out. It works really good. I just get this kind of pitiful look on my face, and she feels sorry for me.
There you go.
I don't think I'm going to have any hope of being hard on the kids kind of dad. I'm not like that.
I'm talking about more like when the boy shows up to try to pick her up.
Yeah, I don't know how that's going to go. That's not going to go too well.
It's not,
for
is it?
him.
No.
No.
How you doing?
Yeah.
Watching you.
Especially being someone that's like been in rock and roll for so long, I'm going to be pretty careful.
Yeah, you've got to. All right, so you've got your new CD. It's going to be coming out soon. Carry On, which is going to be hitting stores June 5th.
June 5th, that's right.
We're looking forward to that. You've done got the new song No Such Thing. You also did a remake of Michael Jackson's Billie Jean, which I heard not too long ago.
Yeah.
It's very different. Can't even hardly recognize it.
Yeah, it just kind of came from messing around doing acoustic shows, and doing like acoustic interludes in Audio Slave shows where I just started doing things no one would expect, and doing things like that the band didn't know about, because once I get up there with the guitar alone, I could play anything I wanted. So I would just kind of mess with them and come up with weird things. But that song, it started out kind of as a joke, but then the lyrics got really heavy when I was singing it that way. It's like a gospel kind of 6/8 time signature, slowed way down, and it becomes this emotional song, right? And so then it got kind of interesting to do it, and so I did a version. I thought it was going to be a B-side, but I did it when I was recording other songs for my record, and I just loved it. It's mostly live, really. I think somebody played some piano later, but otherwise everything's just live in the room recorded. And after I heard it, I wanted it on my record. That kind of just shows people that we don't know what we think we know about music. There aren't really genres, and you can do anything with music.
All right, well, that's very cool. We're going to actually check out your new single, No Such Thing. Of course, you'll be going on stage very soon. Just want to say thank you very much for joining us, man. We enjoyed having you here. We can't wait to see you on stage, man.
Right on. Thank you.
Right on, man. I appreciate it, man. Chris Cornell, ladies and gentlemen, right there from the Green Room. We're going to go into his new song from the new CD, Carry On. This is No Such Thing. It'll be hitting stores June 5th.